Hello, in this video we're going to go over how to do a free background check in the state of California. Now to get started, visit californiapublicrecords.org. I'll have a link in the description. You can click on that or just type it into your browser. On the homepage you will find multiple public record databases in the state of California. A lot of these can be used for free, as a matter of fact majority of them. So just depending on what type of a background check you're trying to do, I'm just going to go over general tools you have available to you and the free resources you can use to do your researching. So for an example, let's say you are let's say you have a big job. Maybe you need a contractor to do a big remodeling job on your house. Now you can run a quick little background check on him and make sure everything is legit. So for example, you can check his license. You can look up his license. You can make sure you can see how long he's had it for. You could see if there was any interruptions. You could see to make sure everything is legit, like it's actually still active. Another thing that you could do is also look at court history. Maybe this individual, or maybe this company, you could check both companies and individuals using court records. Maybe they have a financial lawsuit that relates to their work in one way. So that will set off some red flags and make you reconsider before you put a lot of money into a particular job with a particular company or individual. So that's just a quick tip on how to use the public databases here. Now I'm going to focus on in the video mostly I'm just going to focus here on how to do like criminal type of a background check, because that is probably, when it comes to doing background checks, that's probably the most sought after record type. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that. There are many different ways to do background checks. So you kind of just have to get creative with all the resources you have available to you if you're just trying to do it for free. So go ahead and hover over other records and go ahead and select, let's select inmate search, because that's where a criminal record starts. It starts at the arrest. So it starts with the police, with the sheriff's department arresting somebody and then charging them with a crime. So typically what happens is a local sheriff's department will have a database, and you can, for example, here the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, you can just type in a last name and a first name and look up that person and see if he has if he's got a jail record at the time here. Now sometimes you might, in certain situations, you'll actually have to maybe do a public records request if you wanted arrest specific information. Not every single county is going to necessarily give you a database that you can look at, and sometimes they will get rid of older. They're not necessarily going to keep the database accumulating over time. They will actually clean it out as the people move in and out. So keep that in mind. But this is where a criminal record begins, is at the arrest, and then they get charged, and eventually what happens is they will have to go see a judge. So next we follow this person to the court system. So anytime somebody sees a judge, or anytime somebody gets arrested, they will eventually have to go see a judge, and there is and then the judge, or maybe the jury, it depends like how serious the criminal case is. Typically a judge will just figure it out. They will determine if the person is guilty or not guilty. And so a lot of times these local databases, now California doesn't have a centralized state court record system, so you have to search county by county. And we have the most populous counties here, and each county will have their own database that you can log into. A lot of time this is free. For example, here you can search by party name, case number, and majority of the time this can be done free of charge. In most cases, if you're searching at the county level, they're not going to charge you. If they don't have, for instance, if they don't have an online database, sometimes what you'll have to do is they have these special terminals, public record court terminals, and you can literally walk into a courthouse and sit down and do your research using one of these public terminals. So it just depends. If there is an online database, use that. If there isn't one, figure out if you can use one of their public terminals. Now, from here, a person is either found guilty, or not guilty. Sometimes they will just pay a fine, and sometimes what happens is they will get sent to maybe a prison. And so here you can come in and research the Department of Corrections database. Let's say they do get sent to prison, and this database is also free. So if you have a name, you can just type it in, and here you go. You have a list. It's a free tool that you can use. If they get sent to jail, they will show up like jail. Typically, if somebody gets sentenced under 12 months, it'll be into a jail. If it's over 12 months, it's going to be the prison system, which you want to use the Department of Corrections database to research that information. So I just kind of walked you through how a court record gets initiated and how it eventually gets created, and maybe where the person eventually ends up, depending on how serious the crime is. So another thing to consider is to use paid tools as well. I just walked you through since the video was about what free tools you have available to do a background check in California. I'm also going to mention that if just in case you're not finding what you're looking for, or maybe you want to expand your research a little bit, you can also utilize the name search on top here. And what this is, it looks at public records, court records, real estate, criminal information, arrest information, financial information. It also has private databases like cell phone records, previous addresses, things like that. But it doesn't just pull records from California. It gives you a nationwide look. So it pulls from other states, and it compiles everything into a single search system. It's pretty much instantaneous. What's great about it is, for instance, if we are thinking about a person that has a criminal past, but he's living in California now, but maybe he had a criminal past in, like, say, Arizona, or maybe in Florida. And if you're just looking at California records, you're not necessarily going to see what happened in Arizona or Florida. And people do move around nowadays, and so you gotta have almost like a nationwide look into somebody's historic past now, if you really want to see what happened before in their history. So it's another tool to add to the arsenal. So with that said, come on down to californiapublicrecords.org and get started on your free background check in California. Thank you.